Y'all remember MySpace? MySpace was the best social media site out when it was out. One thing I miss about MySpace is that when you clicked on somebody's page, sometimes you got that one that just came on and you had that song that came on and it was like, ugh, you didn't really mind scrolling and looking through their page and seeing all their stuff. They had all type of pictures and whatnot on their page. You had your top 8 people, and if you wasn't in their top 8, some relationships just got broken just because you wasn't in their top 8. MySpace was the one. Y'all remember Tom? Tom was always your friend first. Your friend first. He was the one and only friend that you could depend on to be your friend. I miss MySpace. And what about Nintendo? Most of y'all nowadays be used to the CDs, and you know, if you get a CD scratched up, it'll start glitching on you. It'll start glitching. You know, back in the day, we had cartridges. You do that one good old pop it in, and once you hear that, you knew you was good. You knew you was good. What about Game Boys? When Game Boys came out, and I'm not talking about the Game Boy, it was in color. I'm talking about the original Game Boy. Everybody had that Super Mario game on Game Boy. And once they jumped up to Game Boy Color, it just made it even more better. You know, I had the purple one with the clear, and then once that got old, you upgraded to the Game Boy Advance. And I really don't know what happened. Once it started looking like a flip-up phone, I stopped it. I couldn't do it. Now, don't get me wrong. PlayStation, the first PlayStation that came out was raw. Even though it has CDs that skipped, it was raw. And if you did not have NBA Jam, Final Fantasy, Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and beyond, Metal Gear, Resident Evil, any one of the Tekkens, anyone, come on now, y'all know y'all remember Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver was the dopest game. Tomb Raider, I know you guys play Tomb Raider. And Medieval, so you go to me and tell me you don't remember Medieval either. And that's just to name a few, y'all. PlayStation was really off the hook. I remember all the time I used to go to school and each kid would have at least one Warhead. Y'all remember them Warhead candies? Them Warhead candies would really have you like, hey, can I have one more though? Can I have one more? Man, back in the days, they just had the best candy. You had Bubble Tape, you had Ouch, which was the candies that came, it looked like a Band-Aid package. It was like little mini bubblegum Band-Aids. Remember Bubble Jug? Do you remember Bubble Jug? The little gum that came in like powder form and you eat it and it transformed into a gum in your mouth? And what about the Baby Bottle Pops? Airhead was a good candy. You had the Ring Pops was a good candy. And oh, how I stayed with those straw candies with the little glittery stuff that just came out of that straw. It was just so good. And some of y'all ain't gonna remember this, but I gotta put it out there anyway, because this was the dopest game at around 3rd grade. When I was in 3rd grade, was Pogs and Slammers. Pogs and Slammers? You had the little slammer that was always dope with the glitter around it. You'd be lucky to find a little glitter around your slammer, and then you had to stack up your little pogs, and whoever slammed over on the reverse side, I really forgot how it went, but you remember them pogs though. Y'all remember on the Game Boy Advance, they had those little detachable little reading lights that you clip up to it so you could play in the dark? Do y'all remember those little Tamagotchi little keychain thingies to where you had to play with it? And you know, it was like one of those fish games where you gotta feed the fish and take care of the fish, but this one was like you gotta take care of a dog or a cat or just something that doesn't look human or anything from Earth. Anything from Earth, a Tamagotchi did not look like, if you really think about it. It really looked like it wasn't from Earth at all. Yeah, but they had the little Tamagotchi things that you hook on your keychain and you gotta take care of it. But you know, mine always died every time. I just wasn't responsible at all. I know some of y'all remembering like, man, wasn't that for girls though? Wasn't those things for girls? Don't trip. I had the Pokemon one, alright? I had the Pokemon one. Little, you know what I'm saying, the yellow with the Pokemon, you know what I'm saying? I don't really justify it, but you know what I'm saying? I did, you know, I ain't afraid to admit it. Some of y'all gonna be afraid to, but I ain't afraid to admit it now. I remember this this talk board that you could talk into, and then it changed your voice. You could play it back. You could do a whole lot of stuff. I never got one. I just seen Home Alone. I always was. If you had one, you was lucky, because I never had one of those, and I always want one. Somebody needs to buy me one right now. I would really just at least try to test it out. I just wanted to test it out. Never got it. But yeah, it was called Talk Boys. Remember WWF and WCW? When The Rock laid the smackdown on your candy? And oh, how we cannot forget Stone Cold Stunner with the 2 beers, smashing it together, bashing them down. I'm not talking about WWE or the new stuff you guys are watching now. I'm talking about back in the days when the real wrestlers was wrestling and getting down. Do y'all remember pagers? Now, I don't remember pages myself, but I always remember my dad telling me to call him on this number, and he'll get to a payphone, and he'll call me back. Of course, they didn't have cell phones. The hard knock life back then. There's a lot of things I remember from my past, alright? In the comment section below, make sure you tell me about what other things in your past that you remember, alright? Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy 360 Jeezy, and I'm out of here. Chill.
Hey, I know some of y'all be freestyling to these beats, and if I could catch you, you know what I'm saying, this is exactly what you look like. So you might as well just buy the beat and email HustleDreamProductions@gmail.com.